Genesis 26, 35 verses. It looks like, again, there's a famine in the land. We see things repeating. There's nothing new under the sun. A lot of this is exactly what happened in Abraham's day. There's a famine in the land like the one that Abraham had in his day. Isaac leaves and he goes to King Abimelech, king of the Philistines, unto Gerar. He gets a vision while there that says to him through the Lord, don't go into Egypt. The Lord once again reestablishes his covenant. He says, because of my covenant with Abraham, I'm going to give you a nation. Your seed will establish nations. They'll be in every nation ever. It says in verse 5, because that Abraham obeyed my voice, he kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my law. Abraham kept everything sacred between him and God. Isaac dwelt in Gerar, and he ends up, like father, like son, deceiving them. He's afraid that they're going to find out Rebekah's his wife. They're going to kill him because of it, so they can have Rebekah. So he lies and says, this is my sister. King Abimelech one day is looking out the window. He sees them sporting, which I take to mean maybe flirting, playfully, joyfully, together like a married couple. He approaches Isaac and he says, what are you doing, man? You're trying to get us in trouble here? This is your woman. If anybody ends up touching this man or his wife, they'll be killed. After the famine, Isaac sowed in the land that he was in after he moved because of the famine. That same year, he produced 100-fold. He became very rich and he waxed great. He had many possessions, flocks and herds and servants. The Philistines began to envy him. All the wells which his father's servants had digged in the days of Abraham, his father, the Philistines, had stopped them and filled them with earth. It's kind of getting to that point now. Abimelech says, listen, you are much mightier than us. Depart from us. So he goes, and he goes into the valleys, and he digs wells. As he's digging the wells, the herdsmen of Gerar strive with him. They fight with him about these wells. He ends up naming the first well Esau, which in Hebrew means strife or contention. Then he moves on and he digs another well. The herdsmen again are fighting with him. He calls that one hostility, enmity, which is kind of funny. He goes on, and he digs another well, and he calls that one Rehoboth because nobody strove with him on that one. That translates to spaciousness, open space. He knows that the Lord has made room for him. Eventually, Abimelech comes, and he had already made a covenant with Abraham. He's doing the same thing now. He needs the assurance. He's feeling insecure. He sees this Isaac being powerful. He needs to know he's like his father. He's not going to move on them. He's not going to cause any problems. He goes to him with his friends, Ahuzeth, and his chief captain of the army, Phicol. He says, hey, man, we need to make a covenant. So they make a covenant with Isaac. They feast and they eat and they drink. And they wake up in the morning and they swear. And as they're leaving that very same day, the servants come after he's already made his oath. They say, we found water. He names that well Sheba, which means oath in Hebrew. Therefore, the name of the city is Beersheba unto this day. It says at the end that Esau was 40 years old. He took as his wives 2 Hittites, Judith and Bashemath. Now, the thing about Hittites is they're an extension of the sons of Canaan. They're Canaanites by extension. Abraham went out of his way to make sure that his servant would promise not to give Isaac a Canaanite woman. Isaac's son marries 2 of them. It says they were a grief of mind unto Isaac and to Rebekah. Esau didn't seek his parents' opinions, it looks like. He didn't seek God's will. He just married what his eyes liked, which a lot of us do. Hopefully not all of us. That's probably another reason that Esau is not favored by God, even though we're going to see that he has, in many respects, a smoother life than Jacob. He doesn't really fear God. He doesn't care about the opinion of God. He doesn't seek God's will for his life. He marries outside of what his grandfather would have wanted for him. That's Genesis 26. I like that these wells are named for the emotions and situations they provoke when they're dug. It's humorous. I also appreciate that Isaac wasn't given to fighting. You can tell that in the beginning, they were just a peaceful people searching for a place to live, had no desire to fight. In the days of Abraham, looks like in the days of Isaac, they're peace-loving people. They're mighty, yet peaceful. Isaac has no real desire to force his will upon the herdsmen of the valleys. He dusts off his feet, as they say in the New Testament. He dusts off his feet and he moves on. One important detail I left out is that before Abimelech and his buddies come and make an oath with Isaac, God appears to Isaac just like he did with his father Abraham. He says, "Fear not, Abram, I am thy shield and thy exceeding great reward." Here it says, "Fear not, for I am with thee, and will bless thee, and multiply thy seed for my servant Abram's sake." God is making the covenant again there. He's making a covenant man to man with Abimelech. When he names that well Sheba, which means oath, it's an oath in two ways.